Hi there. Good morning and welcome to spring. It is a beautiful day, going to be a high of 10 today. Sunny, gorgeous, and hey, a lighter jacket. So I think that's pretty exciting. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I think is very difficult to talk about. I think it's pretty important. From my own personal experience, I just want to say that I have had about 3 or 4 months since my dear mom has passed away, and we laid her to rest in December, and so here we are in March. So there's been a lot of different experiences for me that I've never had before. I think when you lose one parent, it's quite an ordeal and an experience and a lot of sadness. I think when you lose your last parent, it's a different experience altogether, because you're going to go through some grieving that you never thought you could, you never thought you would. Even though mentally, of course, you know it's coming. My mom was 95, so of course I was well aware that she wasn't going to be around forever, but I didn't know that the pain of it all was going to be that hard. Now, I'm not going to talk about grieving where somebody holds you for, a couple of hours or an hour and you feel great afterwards and everything is wonderful. I'm going to talk about the nit-grit of grieving. I'm going to talk about the pain that you go through and who you reach out to. And sometimes you might not reach out to the best person, and that's okay. I just don't want you to stop there and say, okay, well, it didn't really work out with that person. Maybe I'll just keep it to myself. Why bother? No, I think it's very important to understand, first of all, that grief is going to hit at the oddest of times. You might be at work. You might have, I sit in the back of the room at my work, and sometimes I'll just boohoo bawl back there, and nobody notices, and I get myself together and I go on. Sometimes it is so bad that I think to myself, well, maybe I should talk to somebody. When this first happened, I reached out to somebody that I trusted and really wanted them to know and be the one to comfort me. Now, sometimes people are not prepared for that. People are almost even frightened of that. You can leave a message. In my case, that's what I did, and I was very upset. And I think it was my first real experience with grieving my mom. And they didn't really actually know what to do with it. So what do you do then? And I made the mistake, and I just kept my grieving to myself. I have very good friends, that are far away, that are close to me, proximity and close to me in general, and I didn't utilize them. So that was a mistake, because sometimes, you might be having a little bit of a conflict with somebody, and you would hope and pray that when you contact them, that would be pushed aside and your grief would take priority. It doesn't always work that way. So you have to have a plan B or a plan C. And sometimes that's really hard, because if you feel the sting of rejection, you're not apt to reach out again. But it is so important that you do. And I want to encourage you to do that, because, just don't give up. There are many people that probably are in your life that care about you, would be deeply honored if you would take the time. That's the other thing. If somebody carves out time for you, you're important. If they say, okay, I'm going to drop everything that I'm doing and I'm going to get back to you, or I'm going to call you. I heard that message and I'm thinking, oh, I've got to call this dear soul because she's so upset. So that's what you're looking for. That's what you hope for. Now, I have friends in the U.S. and I've got friends in Canada and around and so forth. Got family here and there. So it is important to kind of go around the loop. And also, your self-healing is amazing as well, because you can pray, you can meditate, you can tell yourself, okay, this is a sad, sad time, but there's so many good memories of mom. I'm going to concentrate on those. Bring yourself out of it. You can get a hug from your best friend if they're close, and you can talk to them. And I think it's very important that you deal with the grief head on. It's not a fun experience by any stretch of the imagination, but I miss my mom every single day. Now, does that mean I'm crying every day? No, I'm not that type of person. I'm much more of a happier type person, and I would rather think about the happy memories and the joy, and that's what usually floods me. But I'll tell you, when I do get hit with the sadness, I don't want to be alone. Whether it's even just sending an email, a text, leaving a message on the phone, or whatever it might be, I need to do that. Why? Because it helps me work through my grief. Now, everybody's different, and you're going to have a different experience than mine, but I want to tell you that God is with you through it all. And, you know, the great song I love, and I listen to it every single day that I go to work, I am not alone. And because of that very fact, it helps me. So I'm hoping that you find someone, something, maybe, you know, a poem or maybe a song or something that'll help you through. And of course, there's nothing better than human contact, whether it's even just on the phone or if it's, you know, somebody in your circle that you can hug, whatever it is, do it. And know that you will get through this. You'll never forget your loved one. You'll never, ever go a day probably without thinking of something about them or hearing their voice in your head. But just let me tell you that you will make it through, and you will be stronger because of it. And your love, I think, for that parent, best friend, cousin, somebody that you have lost, will mean more to you each and every day. It'll be a treasured memory that you'll hold dear. So remember, your mental health is important. You are important. God bless, and have yourself a wonderful week. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.